CURES, sponsored by Wheeler Health's Better Choice program. More at wheelerhealth.org.
Helping you lead a healthier life. This is CURES.
And welcome to the CURES Show, where we explore the cutting edge of wellness. I'm Kara Sundlin, and I'm excited to introduce my next guest, who has seen it all, from beating cancer to losing more than 100 pounds with the help of weight loss drugs, battling lupus, and more. Our next guest, of course, is no stranger to Connecticut, but wherever you're listening or watching, I think her story is going to inspire you. Christine Lee of WTIC 96.5 in the morning. She's a DJ, but she's here to talk about all the things you've really overcome. And, you know, your loyal listeners have seen this happen, but it's really a testament, like, you've been through it all in the last 4 years, maybe.
It feels like it. It's been a roller coaster ride, but it also, you know, when you get sick, it starts to become your normal. And it does get pretty frustrating, but you have to soldier on and keep fighting.
People, I'm sure, would ask you this, but once you got a cancer diagnosis, and let's start there. When were you diagnosed? And then all the things you went through, from, you know, removing your hair on TV to talking about, you've been very open about this. Was that a conscious decision of, like, I'm going to show you the real raw facts of cancer and what I'm going through?
I feel like because I work in radio and we're very open with our lives on the radio, more so than you can be on TV, because you guys are under a lot of time constraints, and we just 4.5 hours in the morning, we get to talk about a lot of our personal lives. And it's, for me, it's kind of cathartic to be able to talk about what I'm going through. It's not that way for everybody. Some people are very private and don't want to talk about it, and that's okay. For me, it helps me deal with it. Like, once I talk about it on the radio, I'm like, oh, okay, it's out of me. So in 2020, I was diagnosed with B-cell non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and I went through infusion therapy, chemotherapy, and by 2021, I was in remission. And so, but then in April of this year, I went to my dentist to have a dental cleaning, and my dental hygienist saw a lump and felt it, and she's like, that wasn't there 6 months ago.
Yeah, and I want to stop you right there, because you actually, again, thanks to you being the open person you are, decided to post it on social media. You surprised your hygienist, and really, I mean, it's not an exaggeration to say she saved her life, and we have that clip that has now gone viral. Let's listen.
Hi, I'm recording. Why? Because I came by to tell you something.
What?
That because of your last cleaning, you found a lump, right?
Yeah.
It's lymphoma. It's back. And because of you, they found it. So thank you. I had to come thank you.
Thank you. I've been thinking about you.
When you see that.
Isn't she so
She's so sweet.
That's Nicole at Cromwell Dental. And people ask me, they're like, well, why didn't your oncologist catch what was going on? My blood work was normal. I had just had a CT scan or an MRI 6 months prior. I see him every 3 months. So lymphoma is one of those cancers that can be very sneaky. And I wasn't having really any other symptoms, you know. And so when I went to see her, the lump was what tipped her off. And then a biopsy told the rest of the story. But again, this is why it's important to go to see all your healthcare professionals, because what one person may be able to see, another one might not see just yet. My oncologist was not looking inside my mouth. He was feeling from the outside to check my lymph nodes, but that 5.3 centimeter tumor was not, you couldn't feel it from this side.
Wow.
It took the hygienist feeling from the inside to notice it.
So people don't always think about that, and I know that a lot of people don't like to go to the dentist, but how important that is. You know, it's much more than just cleaning our teeth and having pearly whites. I mean, it's really important that dental oral care can be a window to your whole health.
It's so true. And, you know, some of the comments on that, viral video. I think it went viral for a few reasons. Number one, it's really short. You know, we don't have a long attention span anymore, and it tells a story. It starts out kind of sad. You're like, oh my gosh, cancer. But then it's joyful and happy at the end, like there's hope. It's also educational. People were learning that you can get lymphoma anywhere in your body, including in your mouth. But beyond that, it validated a whole group of people that don't get the recognition they deserve, which are dental hygienists. They are frontline healthcare workers. Like you said, your mouth is the window to your body. They don't just check for cancer. They don't just clean your teeth. They're checking your neck. They're checking your whole palate. They're looking for discoloration and lumps and bumps and, you know, smells, and to see your gums. So they really can catch a lot of things. But then again, then other people were checking in, like massage therapists, hairdressers, estheticians. These are people you see on the regular who have noticed these things and alerted their clients. So I think that's why the video like hit a nerve.
5 million, I think, on TikTok, millions on Instagram.
Yeah.
So you know, it's great that you share this, but you do, you know, you kind of share the tough stuff, but yet you're always smiling. And people say, gosh, she's smiling through it all. What's behind the smile, and is that part of the coping strategy? What's your advice to others?
I think for me it is. I was raised in the military. My dad was a career military Air Force officer, and it was always like, keep going, hard charging warrior, never give up. It's not an option to quit.
I get
which
it.
Isn't always good advice. Like sometimes you do need to know when to put the paintbrush down and try something else. But it is part of, it's built into my DNA. Like you keep going, and you keep trying until you find something that works. And the smiling part, that helps me. Like, and don't get me wrong, I've had plenty of tears and cried a lot along this journey, and I've shared that too.
Yeah.
But I don't want to stay in that place. It doesn't do me any good to stay in that place.
Right, express it, and you're not saying you're only smiling, but that's what's helped you be strong.
Like I had my port put in, and then it got infected, and I went to go to chemotherapy, and they couldn't use the port, and I was devastated that day, you know, because my veins are collapsed, and it hurts to get chemotherapy through the veins at this point. And so, but then I heard a nurse on the phone to the hospital talking about a patient in the room who had it way worse than I do. And it was kind of a reality check, like, get over yourself. You're still able to get treatment today.
Yeah. I mean, well, you talk about having to find silver linings. I know, I get it. My dad was a military guy. My mom used to also tell me, never compare yourself to others. You'll either be vain or bitter. So, you know, in that sense, you know, sometimes it helps to know. But before the cancer diagnosis, and before it came back, before that you had lupus, and you were really open and sharing that. Now, are they connected at all, or is it just the pain, or?
That's a great question, and that's how I lost my hair, was lupus. The chemotherapy treatments that I am receiving do not cause hair loss. Not all chemotherapies cause hair loss. But it was the lupus and the rashes on my head that caused it, and then I had to shave my head because it was so painful and inflamed. But yeah, I was diagnosed with lupus. That was a whole nother battle. Just trying to get the diagnosis is so frustrating. Anyone who's going through that, I feel for you, because it's so frustrating. And in the meantime, you're on steroids and you're gaining weight, and I know it's so hard. But yeah, that was where I was diagnosed, like in my 40s. I'm 53 now. And as far as related, I've asked my oncologist this, and often, I don't want to say oftentimes, I don't want to get this wrong, but lupus and lymphoma can go hand in hand.
Really?
I mean, think about how your lupus is an autoimmune disease and your body attacks itself. And lymphoma, it just opens a door for lymphoma.
Well, we actually have some pictures that you have shared that I encourage you. This is actually after your weight loss, which we're going to get to the weight loss drugs, but you've lost more than 100 pounds, and look, you're smiling in both places.
Yeah, well, I cropped him out, but Charlie Puth was in that picture with me in 2019, and I was happy to see Charlie Puth, but was not happy with the way I looked or felt. But you put on a happy face and you keep charging forward.
Well, and that's, you know, you just said that, keep it on a happy face, keep charging forward. My military dad used to say, lead, follower, get out of the way. They were not really big about learning how to live from their heart. But I think one of the things we talk about in this show all the time is, you know, the power of living from your heart. So I think you've done a good job of both. But just while we're on the topic of lupus, and I want to let everyone know we're going to talk about weight loss drugs. You've been very open about that, the side effects, how you do them, the struggles with getting them now. A lot of information I just learned in prep from you. But back to lupus, just in case you're out there and you don't know, what should people know about lupus and getting diagnosis? Because it is difficult.
Lupus is a tough one because it mimics so many other diseases, like for instance, Lyme disease. Like, you know, and trying to get a lupus diagnosis is oftentimes a process of elimination.
Like it's not just a blood test that you can confirm.
And I did get mine started out as lupus of the skin or subacute cutaneous lupus, and it was a rash all up my arms. And eventually I was able to get that biopsied. And from the biopsy, they were able to determine from some markers that it was autoimmune lupus. But it is very hard to get that autoimmune diagnosis. And oftentimes you're on steroids while you're going through the process. And you're just exhausted and tired and frustrated. But, you know, find yourself a good rheumatologist and don't give up.
And don't give up,
Yeah,
right? Because
just
it's
keep
important to
going
get treatment. Are you feeling better as your management?
Well, the cancer treatment that I receive also
helped the lupus?
Yes, and so the first time I went through it, they gave me a drug called Rituxan infusion, and that put both lupus and lymphoma into remission.
Wow.
And same thing now. I am receiving 2 different chemotherapy drugs, and Gazyva and Bendeka, for anyone who wants to know. And they also are the lupus. I don't have any symptoms of lupus right now. I don't feel like I am flaring at all.
Now, people need, you know, they know that you're a DJ. You've been now at 96.5. How long?
Since 1996.
1996. Okay, we're coming up on 30 years in 2 years, right?
It's crazy, yeah.
Wow.
People have grown up like listening to us, and then now their children listen to us. It's actually awesome.
I love it. I love it. But you're also a mom of 2 and a wife. And so you have all those pressures that I think all of us feel with wearing lots of hats of, okay, I'm a news anchor, and you also have kids to manage, and here you had this illness. How did you handle being a mom and trying to manage everything you manage being a mom while you were sick? What's your advice there?
I mean, I leaned on my family, and my biggest concern wasn't for myself, it was for them, like how hard it would be on them, what they would have to do, what they'd have to see me go through. Like that to me was more frustrating than anything that I was dealing with. And just the other day, my son said to me, they're 19 and 21 now, but my 21-year-old Alexander said to me, Mom, it's nice to see you awake during the day. Because I would come home and just sleep.
Yeah.
But you can't, I guess you can't feel guilty about anything that you're going through. Like this is what you're going through, and it's okay.
And it's okay.
And your family's happy to help you and help you through it.
And your boys, I would imagine, not that they would ever wish this, but perhaps got some resilience, some compassion, learned about caring for someone.
Absolutely. I mean, and they've been very, very helpful and understanding. Now that they can drive, they would take me to my chemotherapy. And my husband too. Like they've been very supportive.
We know George. George actually works here at Channel 3. But so I want to get to the weight loss drugs because this is such a big thing right now. I know a lot of people are trying the weight loss drugs. Lots of thoughts out there. They're a lifesaver. They're the worst thing ever. You know, Oprah's admitting she used them. Lots of celebrities. You have been very honest, and you said they have been a lifesaver for you. So let's start there. Which drug are you taking, and why do you love it so much?
Well, I'm on Zepbound now, which is known as Mounjaro for like the diabetic version, and the weight loss version is Zepbound. And Zepbound has been the best one. I haven't really had any side effects on that. Nothing compared to what I experienced on Wegovy, aka Ozempic, or Saxenda, which was the first one that I was on. Which I hear Saxenda is going to be very readily available. It's a daily injectable. And in the next 2 years, it's supposed to be readily available, even more so, and like covered by most insurance.
Okay, so before we get to the fact that right now there's a shortage of these drugs and that's the problem, but do you inject yourself?
Yes.
Is it a pill? And you're not going to a med spa. This is coming from your doctor. Where did you get here in Connecticut?
So I go to Middlesex Health, their weight loss program. It's excellent. It took me 3 months to get in on a waiting list a couple years ago, and I know the waiting list is like 10 months long now, which is so frustrating to anyone who's made the decision to get help.
Yeah.
So to them, I would say, talk to your primary care physician and see if maybe they can prescribe it for you, and then have them help you titer up the right way. Talk to them if they know how to titer you up properly, because I know the directions on the box are not necessarily what my APRN at Middlesex Health, Gabby Berthiaume, would tell me to do. Like,
she's an expert, you say, in doing this so that it's healthy and you don't have side effects. So this is the thing. People will say, oh, come on, just walk more, or just eat less, or just this.
Calories in, calories out.
You said even your father has said that to you.
My dad is the worst. Like,
okay.
And the thing is, now he's, after getting out of the military, he's gained a lot of weight. I'm like, see, Dad, it's not just calories in, calories out.
What are you learning from the physicians who specialize in this? What do they tell you?
You know, it's really interesting. There are people who can do these weight loss drugs, lose the weight, and then get off of them, and they don't ever have to go back on them again. And then there are people who need to be on them for life, like me. And you know, obviously I'm not a medical expert, but the best I can explain it is it's in my brain, and I need that to be able to control. I have a binge eating disorder, and the American Medical Association classified obesity as a disease in 2013, which was a huge deal. And so I know there's people out there who may be skeptical of it and don't really understand it, and that's okay. I'm not talking to them. I'm talking to the person who's home right now in her kitchen or in her living room and is about to binge eat and doesn't know why she can't control it. You know, it's okay. It's an actual disease, and just like I take chemotherapy for the disease of cancer, these help people who have, you know, they need this help to be able to control not only the eating, but the metabolism and all the hormones that are in your body that are related to it.
Because on top of all this, you've been going through menopause, which slows down. Everybody knows that perimenopause and menopause also comes with some weight gain and slows down the metabolism. So you have found that these drugs changed the way you operate.
Yes, it changed everything, my thinking, my feeling. I didn't even want to drink wine anymore. I didn't have urges to binge on anything, and they found that it even helps people with, like, they're doing the research on things like gambling addiction and all kinds of addictions, like how they're related in your brain. And I hear that these drugs are gonna start being approved for more types of addictive behaviors in the coming years.
Now, the other way, because you did try some of the, I'll say it the old-fashioned way. I watched you earlier on doing, even with some help with walking and food loss and all that kind of stuff with different clinics and whatnot. But for you, you felt it wasn't sustainable because of the binge eating disorder.
Yes, and I will say that Weight Watchers really works for me. It's just that, you know, if they said you could have, you know, unlimited carrots, girl, unlimited carrots for me was like enough to make you gain weight. Like, I just couldn't stop. Like, so Weight Watchers was a good tool in addition for me to, say, using a GLP-1.
So you're not just eating whatever you want now. You're using the drugs, but you're eating healthy. You actually have a Greek husband who loves to cook, and you get a lot of healthy food.
Mostly like fish and vegetables. I'm not a big meat eater anymore. I'm turned off by it now, and getting rid of the alcohol was really helpful. I also stopped drinking coffee. Well, like, I don't want it.
You don't know why. You just don't want it.
Yeah, I just don't want it.
And you don't need it, even though you get up at like 3 o'clock in the morning?
Because no. I can't even explain it.
So these drugs gave you energy also?
I guess so, but I'm not, I wish I could explain it better. You need to get...
no, but I think it's important for people to hear their experiences, because all we hear is, oh, you went on this drug, and look, they lost all this weight, and...
it takes work. It's not, it doesn't just fall off. It takes work.
You made some behavioral changes, but the drugs made it easier. Similar to perhaps you at some point in your life need readers, and you're like, I still need to read, but I read much better without squinting and without trying so hard, and it's less painful if I have glasses.
I mean, and there are side effects, like Saxenda had brutal side effects. That was a daily injectable. Things like gastrointestinal issues. If you have heartburn, it's 10 times worse.
Okay.
If you get constipated, it's bad. So you will have to add medications on top of the medications to be able to combat that. Headaches, nausea.
Do they subside, or you just live with headaches and nausea?
For me, I had so much weight to lose. I mean, I was a size 26. And you can see from the picture that I had a lot of weight to lose. And still now, I mean, I'm a size 14 pants and like a size 12 dress. Like those are Lululemon pants that I have on, and those are size 14. And so, and I'm happy at this size. I think I'm gonna lose another 16 pounds and then I'm gonna be good.
Okay.
But it takes a lot of work, and there are side effects, and you have to decide if, for you, the amount of weight that you are carrying, are you healthier on these meds, losing the weight and dealing with the side effects, or are the side effects unhealthy for you and you can live with the weight? So it's really a personal decision.
And you've lost more than 100. You want to lose just a little bit more, and that's it. I mean, so you're almost at your goal.
I'm almost there. I mean, I don't have designs on being like, you know.
You want to be able to, which we'll talk about what you're doing now, playing tennis, walking. You want to be able to enjoy spending time with your kids.
Exactly.
We have to take a quick break just to hear from our sponsor. But as you talk about addiction right now, I'd love you to hear from Wheeler Clinic, who they actually have a program right now for addictive gambling. Take a listen.
Struggling with gambling? Wheeler Health's Better Choice program offers personalized support and treatment to help you regain control. Visit WheelerHealth.org to learn more and take the first step towards recovery today.
All right, we're back now with Christine Lee of 96.5, and she's sharing her triumphs and her tribulations from lupus to cancer to remission to cancer again to weight loss drugs. It's a lot.
It is a lot. It is a lot. But you know what? I don't think it's any more than what anyone else is dealing with. Perhaps it's not a health issue. It could be finances. It could be whatever you're dealing with your children and their frustrations. So I think we all are going through things that, you know, the phrase where everyone's dealing with something you cannot see, whether it's health related or home related or work related. Everyone's pushed to the limit. And mine just happens to be very out in the open.
Very out in the open. Yeah. And we even have some more pictures. I think Dario might be able to put them up. Of this is, you know, different pictures as you've been documenting going through your cancer journey. For the folks who are watching this on TV or YouTube, you'll be able to see them if you're on the podcast. You know, some of them you're smiling, some of them you're not. They're on the cover of Health Monitor. But for you, it's been important to be open about this. I remember doing a story when you decided to go and get your eyebrows microbladed because you didn't have any eyebrows.
Didn't have any eyebrows.
So beauty and just trying to be the woman that you have been in your life has been important to you.
Yeah, and you know, like wearing hair, not wearing hair. I like to wear my headscarf when I go to chemo. I don't mind. I don't want to go out completely bald, and it's not because I don't like the way I look. I just feel more comfortable with something on my head. But again, it's an individual choice. And I've been wearing wigs for a very long time. So someone who's recently diagnosed, who's new to the wig game, would be overwhelmed. Like there's so many, lace front, synthetic, human hair, like it's crazy. So
you need a whole thing on Insta about your wigs. You could do that.
You do, and so I can like it can be overwhelming and frustrating.
So we could talk to you all day because it's been going, but we actually, this goes by fast. I know it's only a half-an-hour show, but we're down to our last 5 minutes. So I'm wondering, as you can leave folks with some inspiration. Number one, tell people where they can follow you at Christine and Salt, right?
Yeah, you can find us on Instagram at Christine and Salt, and you can listen to me on the morning show 96.5 TIC. FM. You can listen to us in your car, or you can stream us on our Odyssey app, and that's AUDACY.
Yeah.
And you can find us there, and you can always reach out, DM me anytime if you have any questions. I'm always here to help.
Okay, so if someone has a cancer or lupus question,
Absolutely.
that's been part of what you've been doing, is sharing this journey and then answering people's questions.
For sure.
What doctors you've gone to,
Yep.
everyone's
Everything.
journey is different, but I still think, this is, when you have that support, I imagine there were times where you thought, really? Another diagnosis? How
Yeah.
do I get information on this?
I think the hardest part is when you're going through the discovery process and you're waiting for the results from the biopsy.
Okay.
And it takes a week, and that's the longest week of your life. That's what really, once you get that diagnosis, you're like, okay, I'm armed with this information, and now I know the plan. We're going to go to chemo X amount of days a week. And that part is, you know what you're dealing with. It's the unknown that is so frustrating. You don't know if you have lupus. You don't know if you have cancer. You don't know what's going on. I think that's really where, like, your CURES, your holistic, your mindfulness, those things really come into play.
And how do you take care of yourself? How do you manage your stress?
I love to read. I love to walk. I used to be a runner. I used to run marathons, and I don't like saying I used to be. And I told myself, Christine, stop saying I used to be, and let's see what you are now. And you are now. I bought some trekking poles on Amazon. They were $30 to help me balance, because my strength was really down. And I walk with them now, and I'm going to do the Hartford Marathon 5K. I'm going to walk it. It's October 19th, and I'm doing it with my trekking poles, and I'm so happy. So I'm a walker.
You're a walker. That's good. Yeah. Hey, we did a story on the trekking poles. I think you burn like 30% more calories when you use them anyway. So.
I love the trekking poles. They're like my secret weapon. I would use them even now if I wasn't sick. I didn't need them anymore, because they do really help with balance and movement.
Do you have a meditation practice, or are there any herbal medicines or things that you're doing that are helping with your stress, or anything that you recommend?
So we bought the Lululemon mirror when it came out, and I love it. And Pillin is my favorite instructor, and she does an incredible meditation. It's like 5 minutes, and I can do it at the end of the day after my skincare routine. And I love it. But you can use the Calm app. I also like the Calm app.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I center myself. I love listening to music. So that's really how I do it.
Yeah. No, everyone, I think we have to find what works for us. And I tell people, even if you're not ready to buy something, the free Calm app, or go on YouTube and put free 5-minute meditations.
Yes.
You have to find a voice that you like. But once you find it, you can just play it all the time.
Once you find your person, like Pillin, like I would never, I'm like, that's it. I love her.
You love Pillin.
Pillin is the best.
You got to get Pillin on 96.5.
She's amazing.
So the basic, what's your prognosis now as you look ahead?
Very good.
Very good.
I just had a PET scan, and everything is going towards remission, if not there. I have September and October left for chemotherapy, and then I will be
the
done.
marathon.
And then the 5K at the Hartford Marathon, yeah.
So that will be...
October 19th, I'm going to cross the finish line, both, I'm going to tear up. I'm going to cross the finish line both physically for the 5K, but also being done with chemotherapy. So I know.
You're too far away to hug you, but I guess we'll fall off our chairs. But I think it's so incredible, and it's important that you know. I know we only have 30 seconds left, so I just want you to encourage. Now you know what's going on, and I hope this can be inspirational for other people who are battling these health challenges every day. Christine does it with a smile, so look for her inspiration. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you, and it's important to set a goal like that Hartford Marathon 5K. Even if you're going to walk it, it's a goal.
It's a goal.
It's something to look forward to.
Something to look forward to.
But thank you, Kara. This has been wonderful.
Absolutely. Hope you're all having a great day at home. You can follow Kara's Cures on social media and follow me at Kara Sundlin. Have a great day and be well.
CURES, sponsored by Wheeler Health's Better Choice program. More at wheelerhealth.org.